If it's a Friday approaching 7:30, it must be the Super League Live. And here we are in round 7 of the 1999 campaign, and the Bradford Bulls are up against the Halifax Blue Sox. We're at Odsal Stadium, which is a bit wet and soggy, and that's the scene inside the Bradford Bulls dressing room. Bradford, who have won 4 of their first 5 of the year and became the first to defeat Warrington at home last Sunday by 22 points to 14. But the Blue Sox, in their changed jersey tonight, are coming into the match on the back of a wonderful win over Wigan at the Shea 7 days ago. They beat them 19-8 last Friday, only their second home win since 1973. Two sides on top of their form. Billy and Bluey are here, the Halifax Blue Sox mascots. And of course, the Bull is here as well. And he's in good form. I wonder whether his team will be in good form come the first whistle from referee John Connolly. Here's the side that lines up for him. Stuart Spruce is at full-back, Tavita Vicona, Danny Peacock, Nathan McAvoy and Michael Withers the three-quarter line, David Boyle and Paul Deacon is the half-backs. They take over, of course, from the two Pauls down under with the Kiwis. McDermott, Lowes and Anderson up front, Forshaw and Jowett in the second row, and McNamara the captain tonight at loose forward. And the bench occupied by Doniger, Price, Jamie Peacock and Stuart Fielden, the coach Matthew Elliott. And there is Matthew Elliott, the Bradford Bulls coach, in a pretty wet box by the looks of things. I'm sure he'll be able to see through the raindrops that are keeping falling. Darryl Cardis is the Halifax Blue Sox full-back. Gibson, Bouveng, Craig and Pinkney the three-quarter line. Holroyd and Clinch at half. They had a wonderful game last week against Wigan. Up front, Broadbent, Rowley and Skerritt the skipper. Gillespie and Bloom, a new lease of life for the South African in the second row, and Chris Chester is the loose forward. And the substitutes bench, Des Clark, Martin Moana, they'll be delighted to see him getting back to full fitness, Andy Hobson and Danny Seal, and Coach of the Year 1998 is John Pendlebury. And there is John Pendlebury, gingerly picking his way between the puddles over to the far side of the field to watch from the main stand here at Odsal. Below stairs, the Blue Sox prepare to come out, and led by their captain Kelvin Skerritt with a record of 3-3 in Super League so far. 16 tries they've scored, just one more conceded, and Nick Pinkney, just a couple of players ago, he's their top scorer, and the top tackler, little Paul Rowley, their effervescent hooker. 7th in the table coming into this match, and Kelvin Skerritt leads his men onto the field. Despite the rain, a pretty good crowd has turned up here at Odsal. They roll into this place, hail, rain or shine, to see their heroes. And underneath that stand, the Bradford Bulls now prepare to enter this arena, and it'll be a pretty noisy welcome, as is now the tradition here in Super League at Odsal. Unbeaten at home so far this season, 5 victories, just the one defeat. 17 tries they have scored, 17 they have conceded, so still a bit of work to do on the defence for both coaches. No Henry Paul tonight, but James Lowes most certainly is out there. 177 personal tackles for the team lying in second in the league ladder at the moment. And out they come. A ticker-tape welcome from the terraces and fireworks up above. And Steve-O is covered in the ticker tape as it flows in through our window. And there's the man who many people feel holds the key to victory for the Bradford Bulls, James Lowes, Great Britain and Irish international. The only Bull to have played in all 10 games of 1999 so far. And now, of course, the only man to have played in all 11 games when you add tonight's. game to that total. Big night for John Connolly, always is when he comes to Odsal. Big night for any referee. Quite a match in prospect, Steve-O, despite the awful weather.
Yes, it perhaps could just shade it a little bit, but plenty of mistakes. There could be a big scoring.
Deacon with the kick-off, dribbles the ball all along the ground. That's good tactics in conditions like that. That's the reason why Holroyd with the very first mistake.
Went backwards, he said, according to the referee. No, he's calling that
down.
Well, he's not impressed. Stand off, Graham Holroyd. In a great match last week against Wigan, and that went backwards. Quite clear that went backwards. This is what he did when he picked it up. It was a pretty aggressive defence.
And now it'll be a pretty aggressive attack with Boyle. David Boyle playing standoff tonight. Deacon, the dummy half. And you can see the problem that the players are going to have in holding their feet on this surface. Here's McDermott, a big barging prop forward. Sliding all over the place, the Halifax defence. This is Anderson.
Pretty close to a forward, that one.
2 tackles left. Lowe's is at dummy half now. Here's McNamara. It comes further wide, and that's Spruce who's joined the line. Good defence from Halifax early on.
Well spotted by the winger Damien Gibson there.
Deacon slides the kick through, and no problems for Cardis. He just side-footed the ball out. No risks.
What a talent this youngster is. Paul Deacon, little half-back, just the right weight. Nothing that Cardis could do but other words and get it out of the way. Good kick. Good tactics though by the Bulls.
Yes, the kick was grovered all along the deck to make Holroyd pick up and get the error. They got that, and good attack, but fairly strong defence so far. Can they weather the next storm that is launched now at them by Foreshore? 30 metres away from the Halifax Blue Sox posts. Lowe's dummy half, come down the short side. Peacock, tackled by Gibson, and with a little bit of help also from Chris Chester. Here's Lowe's pinching some more easy meters.
Quick thinking by the hooker there, more of that needed.
McNamara to Deacon, looking busy, and that's Warren Jowett. The ball comes out. We're going to see plenty of that, I fancy. Ball retention tonight will be so difficult. Rowley has it for the Blue Sox underneath their own post. Here's Cardis. First time that the Blue Sox have had the ball in their hands.
Pretty hard to see whether there was any fingertips in there.
Broadbent now for Halifax. 0-0, 2.5 minutes gone. The Halifax weathering the early storm.
Well, the Blue Sox will be quite happy to have got their defence sorted out. They were really stretched a couple of times there, and they'll be quite happy to just use their forwards, get into this game.
Going to be a war of attrition, this, isn't it?
Fitness will play a big part, especially in the final 20 minutes.
I don't think early on, Steve, until they get to the pace and the state of the ground and the condition of the football, we can expect too much fancy dance stuff from these teams.
Well, it's very, very wet out there, and caution will be a key factor. I'm sure that both coaches have said to them, just get into the swing of it, do not try to force the pass.
And a penalty to Bradford now. Withers was trying to get to his feet. Bouveng was all over him.
There you can see that perhaps he was swinging away. Bouveng giving away a penalty. This will be more pressure. Nice to see the referee John Connolly making sure that both sides understand what he wants.
Well, he just shouted to the players, come on, let's get away from the grounded player, but on conditions like this where the pitch is moving underneath the foot all the time, that's going to be difficult. But it's a night made for big men like Paul Anderson. He drives it in on the first tackle, Lowe's the dummy half. Deacon looks and finds McDermott on the run, and Rowley with the tackle. Bloom was in there also. Here's Lowe's, he gets away from Bloom. Can he get away from Rowley? Well, he does his best. The reinforcements arrive.
That's the second time that James Lowe's has gone from the dummy half position.
Deacon switches the direction of the attack beautifully. That's McNamara. Here's Boyle. He maybe should have slipped the pass, looking round for more support. It's out wide to Vicona. He won't be stopped, will he? No. First try for the Bradford Bulls. Vicona just allowed the defence to come along, bumped them off, and then went for the line, and he's delighted. And I'm sure that Matthew Elliott will be delighted with the start the Bradford Bulls have made.
Well, the Blue Sox defence got caught here. It was a neat switch, wasn't it there? Paul Deacon back onto Steve McNamara. And once Boyle kept this ball up alive out wide, get out of the way, Daryl Cardis. The strength of this man, Vicona. What a start. You could see how they were all sucked in. And Cardis, he was all on his own. He had to commit himself to the big fella.
Vicona, and you can see how long ago it is since he last scored a try in the Super League. Plenty in the Cup. Matthew Elliott, great start for his men. And who would be a kicker on a night like this, particularly when you're way out on the far touchline? Steve McNamara, 8 goals, has scored in all 6 previous meetings between these two. And John Pendlebury hoping against hope that the conditions will be against him. Not done badly. Oh, he just hits the post. That's hard luck. Bradford 4, Halifax 0.
5 Halifax players in the big circle, and way out there all on his own. You'll see Cardis. He goes across and has to meet him full on. Look at the strength of this guy. That was tremendous work there by the winger. Dipped the body, made sure that he pushed with the legs at the right moment.
Such a powerhouse, Tavita Vicona, who now needs just 2 tries for 100 in the British game. 13 tries last year. His first of 1999. That separates the two teams. 4-0. Halifax will restart. Holroyd gives it some air, and underneath it, Spruce. He tips it inside to Forshaw, who's had a great season so far for the Bradford Bulls.
Well, they paid the price there, the Blue Sox. Remember, it was David Bouveng gave away that penalty, allowed Bradford to go up the field about 50 metres. And they came up with the first try of the match, but it's strong running from the forwards.
Jowett struggling to his feet. McNamara to Anderson. Good tackling by Bloom. He really put himself about the South African last week against Wigan. And Lowe's kicks towards the corner. And Cardis has to apply the brakes. Good chase.
Quick thinking, good tactics, kicking early in the tackle count. Lowe's realising that when you do kick early in the tackle count, that the wingers have not dropped back. And it was a great chase too. Well, they're on the boil now, the Bulls at the moment.
Here's Bloom again, over the 20. Doesn't make too much progress though before those 3 get to greet him. Rowley, the dummy half, looked at Skerritt and gave it him. Skerritt, he made some punishing runs down the middle. One thing we didn't mention, Steve-O, in the build-up to this match with Andy Kelly is the Wigan factor. Normally when teams have a great performance against Wigan, the week after they come out and they seem to be just not firing on all cylinders. It seems to drain them.
Well, they're not an easy team to play because Wigan will play within the full area of the field, so that means that your defensive pattern has to work overtime. That takes it out of you physically. But we'll have to wait and see. Long way to go. 4 points, that's all that's in it. But the big problem for the Blue Sox is getting hold of this ball.
Yes, it seems to have been in the hands of the Bradford Bulls for the entire 8.5 minutes. They lead 4-0. And another penalty here for indiscipline to play the ball. Taken quickly by Lowe's. Oh, he wanted to get on with it.
Well, the referee
wants a word.
Yeah. And he can't go until he's actually blown the whistle.
Don't think Kelvin Skerritt's too impressed with the referee.
Well, there was nothing in it really, was there? It didn't know they were lying on top. It was virtually a hand in there, that's all.
Bloom and Skerritt not allowing Steve McNamara to get back up to his feet. Here's Brian McDermott now.
Big hit there by Carl Gillespie. McDermott would have felt that.
Now then, Vicona has switched wings. Here he is down the middle. He's halted 9 metres short of the line.
Good move that to bring him off the wing.
Big
comes around on
again.
The loop. He's a big fella. He's lost it.
Loses it. There's going to be plenty of knock-ons tonight.
Great effort there by the hooker, Paul Rowley. Put his body on the line there. Prop forward, Paul Broadbent. Double tackle.
Stay outside. Yeah.
Well, can they play out the 6? That's going to be the most important thing for the Halifax side, just to try to get back into the swing of things here. It's been all Bradford.
But here now is the Halifax Blue Sox hooker Rowley, who plays it to clinch, and now Bradford are all offside.
Not standing square, had to play the ball too. He had a choice there, did the official John Connolly. Stood about 6, never made it back to the official, dressed in the green shirt.
And it'll be the cleanest shirt on the field before much longer.
Well, I hope so.
Go. So the Blue Sox in possession. A rarity really in the opening 10.5 minutes. Here is Broadbent, standing a bit flat.
That should be a penalty. It's got to be a penalty. That was deliberately dragged out. Well, I'm not surprised that they're upset with this. Forshaw definitely got the hand in there. Broadbent none too happy. Another good run there from James Lowe. He's so important to this side.
Yes, Lowe's is an important figure. Here now is McDermott. The ball pops out from him.
Get off it.
Good low tackling yet again, but you can see that the big hit by Broadbent just put the shoulder to it, dislodged the football. It really is very wet conditions out there. Difficult to play open football.
No, I don't think we're going to see too much of that, are we? Not tonight, unfortunately. And this game had all the makings of a classic before the weather conspired against us around about midday. Intermittent rain for much of the afternoon. But for the last, 3 or 4 hours, it has absolutely bucketed down, and points will be at a premium.
He was taken out there. That's got to be a penalty.
It is. The referee, John Connolly, agrees with you.
Well, that could be a sin bin in offence. He deliberately threw the shoulder into him after the kick. Bang. McDermott looks round at the official. Well, I think he's fortunate that perhaps he hasn't turned himself for 10 minutes in the sin bin there. Professional foul.
What are you doing, sir?
Holroyd just debating what to do. He's got the penalty 40 metres from the posts.
What are you doing? 2.
He's going to have a kick for 2 points. Going to kick for goal. It's a brave decision on a night like this.
Well, he's pretty confident that he has the power. I'll let you into a secret as well, that this fella here is wearing a new boot. Evidently it comes from Europe. That's something, a new design on the toes or something like that gives him bigger traction. And he says, and he claims, that it has improved his kicking game nearly 35-40%.
He'd need 4-inch studs on it as well tonight. But let's see if the new boots of Graham Holroyd do the trick. This is a big kick. I know he's banging in front. It looks easy, and on a dry track it probably would be. Well, I tell you what, it's money well spent. The new boots of Graham Holroyd come up with the first 2 points of the match.
They needed that badly as well, Eddie, because they really had not got into this game. Bradford have taken full control, and the Halifax coach, John Pendlebury, will sigh a huge relief that at least they've got 2 of those points back.
And the beautiful thing, of course, about that is that they get the ball back these days, and you can see the problems for men like Paul Broadbent. But he did well then, trapped it with his foot, and was nimble enough to get forward and pick up the football. This is Cardis. Skerritt now. Anderson there, and low down Nathan McAvoy. It's a night when the forwards earn their corn.
Not only that, it's a night when both coaches have to toy with the idea of when to make the substitutions. That's great
defence.
Get into it.
Picked up, pushed back 5-6 metres more. Oh, he didn't play that.
Well, the official hadn't seen it.
Neither of them did. Little chip over the top. Oh, he's seen it now.
Well, the touch judge was waving. He's going over to inquire.
Okay.
Penalty to Bradford.
Correctly.
Well, a lack of concentration. That's another penalty there, and you can see that he tried to bang that ball
Straight through the
down.
legs.
Just slid straight away. Must play it with your foot.
Yes, absolutely right. Referee and touch judge.
Wait.
They got it a bit late, but they got it right. Here's Anderson on the charge for the Bulls.
Kelvin.
Big roar goes up every time here, doesn't it, when Anderson gets the football.
And when McDermott does as well, and he spins in the tackle. That's good defence, though, from Broadbent.
Watch for the switching tactics of Paul Deakin.
There's Deakin. Hands it on. Back it go. That was off the chest, and they've got it back. And Holroyd will hack it downfield, but he's got to be quick to beat McAvoy. McAvoy aquaplaning before picking it up. He went along the ground on his backside, then about 10 metres.
Quick thinking by Graham Holroyd. Rather than taking the chance of stooping down and getting the football, it was an open field, there was no one there, but as you mentioned, Nathan McAvoy had the speed. He did well, put his body in between the onrushers and the football, and that's the way to do it.
Bloom with the tackle on McDermott. He plays it to Lowe's, and Skerritt is pinged for offside. Not standing square at the play of the ball.
Intelligent play yet again from the hooker James Lowe's. He knew that the captain had not been standing square, so he deliberately ran in the path towards Skerritt. Pretty hard to make a decision on the spot there whether to let him go.
Well, Halifax were hoping to apply pressure on the Bradford end for the first time, really, and now they're having to defend again. It's time to shore up the fences, because that was a run from Anderson. This is McDermott, and it's a night for the big prop forwards. Out it goes then to the little nimble Deakin, and he flicks the ball back, and McNamara was the man charging onto the football. Lowe's again, absolutely drenched to the skin already, Lowe's, and covered in mud from head to foot. Can't get that ball away. Good tackling, good hassling by Jamie Bloom, but the Bulls are 5 metres short of the line. Here's McDermott. Now McNamara takes over. Short ball, and that's well claimed by Forshaw. Or was it Warren Jowett? It was Warren Jowett. Deakin tried to stab it through, and it's down to six on the tackle count. It touched a blue sock on the way through. Here now is a big opportunity for the Bradford Bulls. Spruce plays the ball. Back it goes to McNamara, and here now is Boyle, and Boyle through one. He's looking for support.
Great work there by the standoff Boyle.
Just held up short. Forshaw, long pass. This is little Deakin, who scoots in. Paul Deakin crowns his cup. Oh no, he's not given it yet. The referee, John Connolly,
He put a foot on the ball.
to go back and check on the
Cannot
play
see
of the ball.
play of the ball. Something was in the way. Make sure you put a foot on the play of the ball, please.
Well, he's wise to check, because it's one of those nights, as we've been saying all evening. And did the Bradford man play the ball correctly? If he did, it's a try. Deakin hopes he did.
It's Boyle that put the ball down. Did he get a foot? Oh, I'm not so sure. Now then, it was at the side. This will show whether he did or not. He didn't. It'll be no try. Well done by the official, referee John Connolly, and you could see there clearly that the standoff David Boyle, it was a lovely jinking run from Boyle, but he never makes contact. Well, that's tremendous from John Connolly.
Well, the Bulls are already lining up for the conversion attempt, and Halifax are having a board meeting behind the sticks. Deakin looks on. I think we know what this decision's going to be. He's made his mind up, the video ref. No try. Penalty kick to the defence.
That's all we've got it for. Last play of the ball was here.
Well, disappointing. It was tremendous build-up there from David Boyle, and well finished off by Paul Deakin. But that's the reason why we do have the big screen, the video referee.
Well, Deakin did well, didn't he? Deakin did well to actually score the try, but the mistake at the play of the ball.
It's amazing, isn't it, that quite a few of these players perhaps they just forget that the video ref and the screen is there for all to see.
Well, Steve-o, they see it these days on NRL, week in, week out on Sky Sports. They all try to get away with it. They tried it in the Test match this morning, and they're trying to get away with it in Super League, and the referees in this country rightly are stamping down on it. Stuart Cummings did exactly that in Australia this morning.
He had a big game as well, though I thought it was rather ironic. One of the Australian commentators said, I thought they got away with that all the time in England.
Aye, well.
Give me a break.
Good kick over the top from Holroyd. It's a big chase here for Spruce. He'll collect this on his own line. And the Halifax wall has arrived. And led by the full-back Cardis. Now there's no one at home at the back for the Blue Sox. Good run from McAvoy.
That was a good kick though by Graham Holroyd. Has this wonderful knack of kicking at the bottom of the football so it spins backward.
And on this surface, that would be priceless because it's like a pudding. Good run from Jarrett though.
Working overtime as a second rower.
McDermott, he's seen plenty of it. Also,
well, the pack are making the hard yards. Their build-up is very good.
Nice little dink over the top by McNamara. Again, it holds up on the turf and Cardis picks up.
Oh, that could have been a flop. Came in very late there to Danny Peacock. Could have been a penalty.
Pinkney.
But we've seen already in the first quarter of this match that the kicking game is going to be so vital. Keep it down, it can spin, it can go anywhere in these conditions.
Gillespie driving it in hard for Halifax.
Substitution for the Blue Sox, number 23, Danny Seal, replaces
And Paul Rowley, that's a bit of a blow for the Blue Sox. He's replaced by Danny Seal. But I must say that Danny Seal let nobody down last week against Wigan, but I don't think, I might be misjudging him, I don't think that John Pendlebury would necessarily have taken Rowley off. Would he, for tactics, to bring Seal on?
Well, it would surprise me. He looked a little bit dejected.
Well, Bill Arthur's chasing the story, I know, down on the touchline. Midway through this first half, 2 points in it. It's going to be that sort of a night, I think. War of attrition, battle up front between these two sides, and maybe tied legs later on, allowing us to see a few more points. But a real war in every sense of the word for these Super League teams here tonight. Withers, dummy half.
Full credit though to the Bulls, they are keeping this ball alive.
This will be interesting. That's a high kick. Oh, Cardis! Didn't he claim it well? Off he goes! The Blue Sox fullback.
What a take there, under a lot of pressure. It's a good job that Forshaw got back. Handy tackle there on the fullback.
A change now for the Bradford Bulls. Paul Rowley, we hear, has got a dead leg. That's why he has come off. So it was an injury that has forced him from the field of play. Here's Bloom.
Well, you could say Jamie Bloom's a born-again rugby league player since they moved him into the forwards. He really has been playing outstanding.
Yes, brilliant last week, and he's carrying on in the same vein this week. Clinch with the high kick.
Oh, it's a high one too, it's hanging.
Oh, he dropped it, Spruce. It went backwards, says John Connolly, and Spruce would breathe a sigh of relief.
And it did. Good call. See quite clearly there, he did well to get into the field of play too. It was a beautifully high kick. Perhaps lost it in the lights.
Well, the hint is there for both sides, Steve-O. The high kick could cause problems.
I think any kick tonight could cause problems. I know we've said it before, but the fitness plays part. The fittest side will probably come away with the spoils.
This is Stuart Fielden. Steps over the top of Kelvin Skerritt. The ball is stabbed downfield. Chased by Pinkney. Good chase downfield by Withers. He was there. And first man in was Mike Forshaw.
Interference there. There was interference. Got to be a penalty. You'll see the hand of Forshaw.
Interfere with the man. You've got to get the hand out.
Yep.
Interfering.
Had to move away.
Well, he showed on the pre-match interview, Mike Forshaw, he's got two lovely black eyes, hasn't he?
Thanks for that.
That was
Well,
his
it was
leg.
his leg, sorry, yeah.
Stay.
Better not order chicken over the next couple of days if I can't see the difference between a wing and a leg.
Penalty now to Halifax.
Get him down, okay?
High tackle this time.
Ooh, a little bit of a...
Skerritt and McNamara.
Well, he was swinging and Skerritt felt it coming. He's claiming to the referee that Skerritt led with the elbow, and then they just had a little bit of a push and shove there. Big grin on the face of Skerritt.
Gradually the Blue Sox getting to the pace of this game now. Danny Seals, the dummy half, he's on for Rowley, and he loses his footing.
Well, I think with apart from the kicking game from the Blue Sox, this is probably the first time that Halifax is about to get into the Bradford attacking quarter.
Oh, nowhere, that pass. Good job that Bouveng was there to pick up the pieces. Retains possession on the fourth tackle. Holroyd, another bounce pass. Can't afford to throw passes short in front of your colleagues on a night like this. Now Holroyd will hoist the kick again. And here's a big test once more for Spruce. Oh, he did well, and he collided with the post as well, and that would have hurt, despite the fact that there's a big padding around the bottom of that post. Spruce is hurt.
Oh, this is very brave indeed. His eyes never left that football. As soon as it came through, you can see Cardis put in under a lot of pressure, collides with the upright.
Wait, come back, come back.
Well, Cardis and Clark were hunting the kick in the air as well. And a screen from the terraces that Halifax then weren't standing square at the play the ball. And this is foreshortened.
Oh, swinging arm. Well, that's stupidity. And this is even worse. What on earth is James Lowes running like that for?
Des Clark was the offender, and that's what started all this. Well, the reaction from James Lowes started all this. The referee had it under control.
Scarrett wanting to have a few words to James Lowes, and in fact got quite close to them there. But really, the official had already blown up for the swinging arm. He didn't make contact. Irrespective of that, there it is, whoops. Slipped over the top, and then, for some unknown reason, Lowes came in. He's not the official. Well, the crowd here is screaming for him to be sent off, but it's not a sending-off offence.
There's no need for it. Captain!
John Connolly ticking off
James,
both captains. And James Lowes and Des Clark.
Right, the minute you start pulling people off, people start running, right? You could have cited a brawl, okay? Good job, it was all handbags at paces. So think about it, get out of it. You tell your team to calm down. Kelvin, tell them to calm down.
Referee wants to put a lid on it all, as you heard.
Well, they had to go first time. Just skimmed over the top.
Don't. I'll get in. Okay.
There's Mr. Lowes saying, I'll have a bit of this action. But I think referee John Connolly summed it up quite succinctly there by saying handbags at paces.
Well, the penalty given for the swinging arm. Here's Fielden. Almost through. You get the feeling that
it's boiling.
Despite the rain and the mud, it's getting a little tepid out there.
It sure is. The crowd are feeling it there. I'm sure the players are.
Well, Boyle did well to hang on to that.
That was a dangerous pass, wasn't it?
McNamara threw it. He's now in at dummy half. And here's Fielden again. Bright young forward, this fella, 19 years of age, Stuart Fielden, the Academy International. Gets to his feet, plays the ball to the old campaigner Lowes. And this is McNamara now. I must say, as this match wears on, identification is going to get a little difficult, to say the least. That's Pinkney, though, I can tell you that. He's being shoved back over his line. That's wonderful work from the Bradford side.
Great stuff. Neat little kick to start with. Lowes puts it through. Was bobbing all over the place. Stuart Spruce got to him. Let's all join. And that's what they did. All join in, on top, on top.
Well, we wondered before this match how Bradford would cope without the Paul brothers, who played in the Anzac Test earlier today. I suppose the 17 men on duty will want to prove that they are not just bit players to the Robbie and Henry show. And so far, they've done all right. That's a penalty, is it? Yes. Two-man tackle. Ball stolen.
Well, not the best start by Des Clark. He took the ball, perhaps didn't realise. Yeah, there's definitely two hands on there when the ball was being reefed away. Hasn't been on long, but been involved in quite a few issues. Not surprisingly, the Bulls are going to go for the valuable 2.
No silly business, right? Is anything going on? Just back out of it.
Listen, the referee, he's trying to settle the two sides down. Let's have no silly business, he says. Should be talking to us, really, shouldn't he?
Well, he's not out there to just let it run riot. Bit of a smile. Must say the officials this year look a little bit more relaxed.
So chance here for McNamara to add to the Bulls' total. Bang in front, just like Holroyd was before. I think he might have missed this though, and he has. It's waved away. But the good thing from the Bradford point of view is he got the ball dead. They'll get it back from the dropout.
That's a bad miss though, and he knows it too. Responsibility of the captaincy tonight on Steve McNamara, and he realises that that miss could prove costly indeed.
Just on that point about the referees being a little more relaxed this year, maybe that's because you've left them alone for the opening 6 rounds and in fact given some of them praise. Peacock.
I don't think it's got anything to do with me.
Well, I'm not so sure. Deacon. Inventive little player, isn't he? Having to bide his time with the Robbie and Henry show, but what a player, and Lowe's drives it in towards the posts. Big moments here for Halifax and John Pendlebury, and the ball again not played properly.
Well, the message has got to get out there. Matthew Elliott, the coach, must be telling them, get on with the rules of the game as written. I mean, that is such a bad error. What's the difference between just dropping your foot an extra couple of inches? On a dry day, to do that quickly so you can get the roll, yes, but not in wet conditions like that.
The penalty count is all square, but isn't the theory from the other end of the world that you just try and catch the defences on the back foot with tactics like that they're not back the 10 and speed it up, just give them the extra half second, and it makes such a difference these days. Is that the theory?
Of course, but that's virtually for a dry track. On a pudding like that, well, a bit different.
Des Clark stabs it through, and across comes the cover in the shape of Stuart Spruce. Well, I wonder how Paul Rowley is. We came off with a dead leg, didn't he, earlier? Wonder what the news of his condition is. Here's Bill.
He's a crucial figure in the Blue Sox plans, as we highlighted before the game, but Paul Rowley there sitting on the bench at the moment for the Blue Sox with strapping on his knee, a treatment pack. He says he's picked up a dead leg, banged into somebody else's knee. It's pretty sore at the moment, doesn't know whether he's going to be able to come back, and a brief word from Paul is that the conditions that are out there are absolutely atrocious, and they're getting worse by the minute, and they're probably the worst he's experienced for some considerable time.
Yes, this really is like the bad old days, isn't it, with the conditions. Charged down by Clark. Mind you, it's a night, Steve, and that's good work from Lowe's. It's a night that reminds me of the grand final at Old Trafford last year. It was a similar night to this then. We had a great game, and we're getting a real battle tonight.
Got a great game on here at Otsel, but yet again we're seeing Bradford. Well, they've got no fear at the moment. They're keeping this ball alive. Full credit to them. They obviously feel that there's a big problem in the Halifax defence out wide.
Up the middle, though, goes Fielden.
Worked overtime since he arrived.
Oh, Halifax have missed 7 tackles already in this match. Bradford have kept it pretty tight. 32 minutes gone. Here's McDermott. Up the middle he goes again. Just content to trundle it up. This is the 5th and last, though. And Lowe's spins it then into the arms of McNamara. Chip over the top. Oh, almost for Spruce. So close for Spruce.
Well, again, the tactics of the kick, and it's a problem for the fullback. McNamara, pinpoint accuracy there. Well, they sort of hesitated.
Came off Halifax, could have been offside.
Could well have been.
Referee played the first knock on that he believed was there.
Well, it was on the last, so that's a turnover. No, Spruce definitely got the hand to it. Of course, it doesn't have to hit the deck. If it hits the opposing player, then it's an automatic knock on. Yep.
Yes, he did get a hand to it, so John Connolly read it absolutely perfectly.
Ooh, that could have been a lost possession. Benefit of the doubt, I think, by the official on that occasion.
Here's Skerritt again.
Foul, clear. Wait.
Well, we've only seen the one try so far, haven't we? That from Tavita Vaikona. And the big booming kick over the top. And that
That's a tremendous kick there from Holroyd.
And here's Spruce.
Jamie, come right.
No, look at that. 19.
He gets through some work, doesn't he?
Little Terrier, the South African. In with an assist there.
Oh, and now penalised for pushing and shoving it with us as he tried to regather his feet. And we highlight the best of him, and then he shows us this.
Put the mockers on him straight away. Little doubt that the penalty had to be awarded. But look at that. That is the biggest tale of this first half. And John Pendlebury will be happy to think that he's only 2 points adrift. They've absorbed a lot of pressure from the Bulls.
You wonder how much of a toll that will take as the evening progresses. And that was a little bit high from Skerritt. This is Lowe's.
Another great work from the hooker. Working overtime.
Deacon. McNamara, short ball, lost by Jowett.
I think Broadbent quite happy just to drop onto that football.
Here's Cardis.
He knows as well as, oh, there's a bit of a problem with one of the Bradford players. Caught a knock in that attempted tackle.
Go.
Trying to pick out who it is.
We think it's McNamara, Steve-O. This is Pinkney meanwhile.
Doesn't look well, doesn't McNamara?
Broadbent now.
I think it could be the arm or the shoulder.
Little chip over the top, and that's play on. Cardis has followed up, and it's 6 to go. What's more, Cardis looking for support. Oh, he hasn't noticed it's 6 to go. He's looked out for Pinkney. Is it going to be brilliant stuff? No.
Well, why on earth did he kick?
It wasn't Pinkney, it was Gibson.
Great work, though, by Danny Peacock. Well, Cardis obviously didn't realise that it had come off a Bradford player. Nice option. Gibson just could not get it through. Whoa, that's great work there by Danny Peacock. It had to be. It was charged down there, and McNamara got a hand to it. The full-back raced away.
He couldn't have heard the call, could he, at 6 to go?
No. But it had to be a saviour there from the big Australian centre, Danny Peacock.
And Gibson hit the puddle, and it was the water splash. But what a bit of defensive quality on show there from Mr. Peacock. Gibson just popped up, and he made the call.
I must say, though, Gibson did well to take that ball on the run. In these conditions, as you can see, it's just like a piece of soap out there, bobbling all over the joint.
Lowe's gets the pass away. That ball is stabbed through, and Nick Pinkney this time picks it up. Oh, and it's come free. He's lost it.
He was reefed out by Peacock. Quick thinking there.
Well, two great bits of work from Peacock.
And it went backwards.
Bradford on the charge with McDermott.
Good run, but great tackle there.
Now can Bradford turn this possession into points? Lowe's trying to pinch one. Halted. Oh, and the ball's come out. Went backwards. Referee looks at the touch judge. The tackle count will continue. It is. Ball went backwards. McDermott driving from dummy half. Forced over the line on his back. It'll be head and feed at the scrum to the Bulls.
Well, again, the scrambling defence. And as Clinch picked up an injury here. He's not well. And you'll see him grab the leg.
Well, Clinch is flat out behind the posts, I think.
Strength there from McDermott. And there's a little halfback, such an important figure in the Blue Sox. His kicking game alone.
Got a bang on the head by the looks. Well, Rowley off with a dead leg. The last thing they want is to lose Clinch.
See if we can pick something up here. There's McDermott did well to keep him on his back. Never had any chance of going to get that ball down, but they'll have the chance for 6 more.
He's okay now, Clinch. The referee will pack the scrum down.
Okay, let's go.
And the Blue Sox will hope to defend again, and the Bulls will look for reward right on the stroke of half-time. It might come here with Withers. It has. Withers with the try. Michael Withers, who returns tonight from 3 games out of the side, and he comes up with a vital try.
Great play by McNamara, peeled away from the scrum on the open side. You can see that he sucked in Chester, and Withers had the strength and the ability to slide through. See how Deacon peeled away one way, confused the defence, he offloaded just at the right moment. He attracted Chester to him, did McNamara. Outstanding play here. See how he waited to the last moment, suck in the defence, offload at the very most important time, and Withers knew he'd slide there, dives over. What a great effort.
Yes, and Michael Withers actually returned from his 3 matches out against Warrington last Sunday and scored a try against them as well. And he is really averaging a try per game now for the Bradford Bulls, and that was exactly what Matthew Elliott, his coach, would want on the stroke of half-time. And so is that, the 2 extra points from the boot of Steve McNamara. Bradford 10, Halifax 2, right on the stroke of half-time.
And the try converted for the Bulls, number 13.
Michael Withers. It was a difficult day for Workington, but a wonderful day for Withers. Eight tries now, and this is his 8th appearance. Not a bad record.
Psychologically, that is a huge lift for the Bulls. All that pressure, they've had all the ball for most of this first half, and even they would have been a little bit confused to have gone into the half-time break only 2 points in front, but it's looking a lot better for them now at 10-2.
And Jamie Bloom appealing for something from the touch judge. The referee looks at him, says it was a knock-on in the tackle, was going to put the scrum down, but it's too late. The half-time siren sounds, and the Bradford Bulls turn round with an 8-point lead. Vicona's try in the 4th minute, but Halifax made them work hard for the second, scored just before the interval by Michael Withers, and gold on that occasion by McNamara. So the crowd soaked to the skin, the players soaked to their skins, but being entertained royally by these 2 sides despite all of that, and the Bulls are ahead by 8 at half-time.
Sky Sports proudly presents
England 99 World Cup of Cricket.
3 former England captains head our expert commentary team. 24 exclusively live games over 6 weeks of first-class one-day international cricket.
Our coverage is complete.
England meet world champion Sri Lanka in the opening match live on May 14th.
It doesn't get any bigger than this.
Watch Sky Sports for the winning team. I've been a naughty boy. An ordinary cleaner, that's all it was. Yeah, sure, it might have killed bacteria, but bacteria could come back, even from this. Now look what I use instead. New Flash antibacterial. Unlike ordinary cleaners, it works against bacteria for up to 12 hours. So you can feel more relaxed. Because who knows what goes on behind your back.
What are you looking at?
New Flush Antibacterial. It works for up to 12 hours, so you don't have to.
The amazing Brawn Oral-B 3D. It's the only plaque remover designed to pulsate deep between teeth. It pulsates to loosen plaque and oscillates to sweep it away. It cleans deep and better than an ordinary toothbrush. The Brawn Oral-B 3D. It pulsates deep to clean better.
Hello, want a low-cost loan at your convenience? Whatever you want 800 to £15,000 for, call Lombard Direct on 0800 2 15,000.
Our rates reflect your circumstances, and our typical APR is just 11.9%.
I've just got us a great deal on a loan.
For an unsecured personal loan of 800 to £15,000, just call Lombard Direct now on 0800 2 15,000.
Now you can reconnect to BT for our lowest ever price. Absolutely nothing. So it's no wonder that thousands are coming back. Even those who've been away for a while. Call us now on 0800 800 810 to reconnect for free.
NEC Multimedia, expanding your world.
A quick look ahead to just some of the action coming up for you tomorrow here on Sky Sports at 10 o'clock. It's Australian Rugby League. This week, Melbourne take on Souths. At 1:30, there's live cricket, Somerset against Durham. And at 2 o'clock, there's live rugby union, Sale versus Leicester. Just part of another big day of sport here on Sky Sports. Right now, it's half-time in our live Super League match, and the Bradford Bulls are ahead by 10 points to 2. Withers with the try right on half-time. Vicona after 4 minutes, McNamara with the goal. And only the Graham Holroyd penalty for the Blue Sox in that first 40 minutes. And this is the reason why it's a beautiful effect, isn't it? But that actually is the floodlights, and the satellite hasn't fallen out of the sky, by the way. It's just the rain that's dropping here at the Odsal Stadium, and despite the fact that the rain has been teeming down all afternoon, they still roll in here, don't they, to see the Bradford Bulls. It's a tribute to the supporters, it's a tribute to the players, and those poor dancing girls, well, no wonder they've thrown away the pom-poms, because they are soaked to the skin as well. Not a night this for the faint-hearted, and the Bradford Bulls ahead by 8 points at the half-time interval. It's really been a war of attrition. It's like a match played in the bad old days when Andy Kelly was a lad and running around. I mean, this is winter rugby gone mad, isn't it? We're in the middle of spring. Whenever it's going to spring, the Lord alone knows. But look at the state of this pitch and these players. You have to take your hats off to them for actually entertaining us the way they have.
Yeah, it's horrendous conditions, and testimony to the players' professionalism that they've hung on to the ball as long as they have, and that we've got a game at all going on here.
Yeah, the Blue Sox, I mean, the big problem is they've not been able to get hold of the football, have they?
No, I think, again, the half-time scoreline suggests that the Bradford have banded that a little bit tighter. The forwards have made the yardage and had all the possession.
We thought, didn't we, that it would be a forwards battle, obviously, on a night like this. And frankly, Broadbent and Skerritt, we've not seen much of them. Rowley going off didn't help Halifax, did we?
No, without doubt. They lost a lot of direction when Rowley left the field. But I really felt the size and power of the Bradford pack's taking its toll on Halifax. They've also drove forward and given Bradford good territory to launch attacks from. And
interestingly enough, Steve, when the Bradford pack have put them in the position, the wingers, Vicona and Withers, have come up with the goods for them.
Yeah, I think it's been important. I take my hat off to the way that Bradford Bulls are playing in atrocious conditions. They've kept the ball alive. You'd think it was bright and sunny out there, and they have had no fear. They've obviously wanted to play to their coach's wishes, And they came up with the first try with keeping that ball alive. I mean, this was a wonderful build-up. You'll see that the switch of play, Deacon and David Boyle are really playing out of their skins. Here's a switch with the skipper, McNamara, and they get caught here with the defence pulling through. Now you see Boyle, the strength, and once he offloads, you get the ball out wide, McNamara backing up, and the big fella get out of the way. He tried his best, did Cardis, but he's a very strong player indeed, Vicona. This was a try, no try to Deacon, and you can see there that Boyle did not play the football correctly. It was good work from Deacon. It looked as though that the floodgates were about to open, but full credit to the official, John Connolly. Now this is the charge down, and Cardis obviously has not heard the referee say back to 6. Otherwise, he would not have attempted the kick. As it turned out, full credit to Gibson, who takes this, but look at the saving tackle there from Peacock. Spray of water, but this was sheer quality in the end, wasn't it? As I say, they've had no fear about playing with a slippery ball. To put on a set move like that, Withers in, beautiful work by McNamara, and they are starting to take the control. But I think we've got to look back at the fact that Halifax did have no possession in that first half. And the way that Bradford just controlled everything out there, maybe it could turn around. But the biggest problem now for Pendlebury and his men is that can we get this football? They need it desperately.
Well, they do, and we posed the question, didn't we, Andy, before the start of the match, how would Bradford react without the Paul brothers? Well, you've got to take your hats off to them again.
Yeah, they've played a much shorter game. They've adapted very, very well to the conditions. I feel that with McNamara dictating, James Lowe's job's been made easier, and he's just marshalled McDermott and Anderson around the field, and those two boys are a big effort. It's a big effort to stop them when they're going forward.
Indeed so. Well, I hope you're enjoying this, and I hope you will enjoy our coverage of the NRL that continues tomorrow. The next match we have for you is the Melbourne Storm against the Souths. It's at 10 o'clock in the morning on Sky Sports 1, the very best of Australian Rugby League from the National Rugby League in Australia. Melbourne against Souths, Saturday morning, 10 o'clock, here on Sky Sports 1. If I remember rightly, when we were last in Melbourne, Steve and I, in '92, and Great Britain won, it was a night similar to this. I wonder if it's going to be a little bit damp there tomorrow. Tune in and find out, 10 o'clock in the morning. It certainly is a wet night here at Odsal, but Bradford, they have adapted themselves well to these conditions, as we've said, from the very first whistle. And they're in the driving seat, ahead 10-2.
Jules, we're getting married.
Falling head over heels in love.
Michael? I've got exactly 4 days to break up a wedding, steal the bride's fella, and I haven't one clue how to do it. Oh.
Was this just about winning?
She's toast.
Hey, congratulations.
I told him, puppy, I mean, if we're engaged, we really shouldn't be ashamed of it.
How did you and Julianne meet?
In a mental institution.
Rupert Everett. Cameron Diaz and Julia Roberts, My Best Friend's Wedding, at 8 Saturday, Sky Premiere. The biggest films every Saturday night, guaranteed.
Get your motor running. Head out on the highway, looking for adventure, and whatever comes our way. Yeah, darling, go make it happen. Set the world in a loving embrace. Oh, damn. All of the guns for once and born to be wild.
Normal toothbrush? Not quite. Flick this switch and it vibrates 7,000 times a minute. The Reach Power Brush. Don't go mad with it, though.
Maybe. Just maybe.
JJB and Sports Division have released the new England home shirt with senior sizes at $39.99 and juniors $29.99. Be a part of the team at JJB and Sports Division, the official England sports stores. The new England home shirt is available now.
Large hot dog, please.
No one likes being shortchanged, but thousands of you could have been shortchanged by as much as £4,000 or more. So if you receive this letter from your pension company, read it now. It will help you decide if you need to have your case checked. And if you're owed money, you'll get it back. If you need help, see Teletext page 358 on ITV. Missold a pension? They owe you.
Hello? Want a low-cost loan at your convenience? Whatever you want 800 to £15,000 for, call Lombard Direct on 0800 2 15,000.
Our rates reflect your circumstances, and our typical APR is just 11.9%.
I've just got us a great deal on a loan.
For an unsecured personal loan of £800 to £15,000, just call Lombard Direct now on 0800 2 15,000.
For more information about the National Association of Air Ambulances, please call 0800 3899 899.
May, the month of fate and fortune, as the season ends.
The month when Sky Sports really comes into its own.
This year we're showing our best ever lineup to capture all the decisive moments live. In the Premiership we're following the leaders. See Man United.
Two tough away games at Liverpool and Middlesbrough.
Arsenal.
We've got Derby at home, Leeds away.
And Chelsea.
Up against Spurs at the lane, we can't let them win that one.
Then, on the final day...
Whether it's the title or relegation still to be decided, you'll see the outcome live.
The Nationwide League finishes the same, with two head-to-head First Division matches.
That's followed by the playoffs and the drama of the 3 Wembley finals.
In Scotland too.
We'll bring you the climax of the Premier League.
And to cap it all...
You can look forward to the FA Cup final.
And the Scottish Cup final.
Could it be the best ever month of live football on television?
Probably.
Sky Sports in May.
May the best team win.
Another big day of football coming up for you Sunday. 3 live games as we follow the Premiership title races in both England and Scotland. At 11 o'clock Sunday morning, it's Leeds United against Manchester United. At 3, it's Sheffield Wednesday against Chelsea. And at 6 o'clock, Rangers take on Aberdeen. That's 3 live games coming up for you Sunday here on Sky Sports. The ball is drenched. But the Bradford Bulls, thankfully, from our point of view, have changed their jerseys start of this second half. They're ahead by 10 points to 2. 2 tries to 0. Vicona and Withers. McNamara with the goal. Just the one penalty kick from Graham Holroyd that the Halifax Blue Sox have to show. But quite simply, Steve-O, in the first 40 minutes, Halifax was starved of the football. They never saw it.
That's right. They've never been able to get into this game at all. And I suppose Matthew Elliott is still well aware of that fact. And if Halifax can get at least 50-50 possession in the second 40 minutes, well, they'll feel a little bit more confident. But the coach, Matthew Elliott, big smile on his face, talking to Bill Arthur down there. We'll have to see whether Mr. Elliott will be smiling at the end of this game.
Bill just checking what was said during the half-time interval, I'm sure. 10-2, Bradford ahead. Halifax Blue Sox get this game underway at the start of the second half. Halifax want to get hold of the football early. Bradford want to score points early to put them to bed.
Well, he's having a big game as a standoff, David Boyle. He certainly impressed me in the first half. And again, we see quite quickly that the Bulls are quite happy to keep this ball yet again alive.
Here's Jowett.
But the forwards have worked overtime. They really have got over the advantage line with ease.
Tackles made, 123 by Halifax. That will surely take its toll later on, and they've missed 10. Bradford, pretty secure game as far as they're concerned so far. Dab over the top into no man's land.
It's a good kick there. Look at the clean breaks as well. 6-1.
Cardiff did well to pick up.
4-2 in the attacking kicks. Just shows you that they've had the opportunity on a couple of occasions, but too many errors from both sides. It's to be expected, though. It really is a quagmire out there.
It is, but I mean, am I being a bit unkind when I say that when Halifax have the football in their hands, and we have said already in the first half that was fairly rarely, but they don't look to me to have the same appetite that the Bradford Bulls have.
Well, they haven't been able to get onto a roll, that is for one thing, but as you say, you look at McDermott, Anderson, and since the guy came out, Stuart Fielden, they've made inroads.
They eventually worked the ball back to Gavin Clinch to put the kick in, but it fell pretty handily for Stuart Spruce. And Spruce will launch another Bradford attack from deep. Bloom inevitably, and Chester first to him. Bloom again with another tackle. That ball came out. He did lose it with us.
Knock on.
And the referee says knock on.
That's a bad mistake. Could have done without that. And you can see that Withers completely lost it.
Well, let's get the half-time news while this scrum forms. We saw Bill talking to Matthew Elliott. Wonder what he's been saying.
Well, Matthew's come down to the touchline because the view, I think, from his box was steaming up. Same for John Pendlebury. It is difficult now to see out there and getting murky and misty, but what Matthew Elliott's seen of his side so far he's pretty satisfied with. Given the conditions in the first 40 minutes, he wants them to just concentrate on that, maintain possession, not give away penalties, and just cut out any errors and any errors in discipline as well. And he wants the defence tightened up, but it's been pretty good so far from the Bulls. John Pendlebury, his opposite number, not too dissatisfied with the effort from his side in the first 40 minutes. He would like to see them take the game into the Bulls' territory a bit more, play the game in their 40 metres, try and force the errors from the Bulls, try and force possession, and maybe the chances will come.
Maybe they will here. This is Chester, but Forshaw got to him, wrestles him to the ground. Danny Seal was the dummy half. There's Clinch. He's going to hoist the kick out wide, looking for the possibilities here, but the big fella Vicona comes up with the possession.
So casual there, Vicona. That was a great take. Didn't really jump all that high. Made sure he got the football though. There's quite a lot of low-flying aircraft there.
There he is again, Vicona, playing it to James Lowes. Forshaw is the ever-willing runner.
And that just epitomises what they've done in this game, Bradford. Getting over that advantage line. That is a problem for Halifax. Their defence is always on the back foot.
This is the last tackle for Bradford. Deacon will kick, and again he kicks into open space. He was clattered after he kicked as well, Deacon. Des Clark was hunting him. This now is Pinkney for the Blue Sox.
Ooh, he could have been classified as going in just a fraction too late. But John Connolly had a long, hard look at the touch judge.
He's been involved in some talking points, Des Clark, hasn't he? Considering he's come on as a substitute. That's very risky business from Broadbent, and the referee's picked up the knock-on by Danny Seal. Dry weather football on a night like this.
Well, really no cause to try to offload. Now,
he's given head and feed to Halifax.
He's got it right. There must have been a hand in there because it did come through off a Bradford player. Crowd is somewhat bemused, but I think he's got it right.
Well, he's a lot closer to the action than we are, and the crowd is.
Oh, great defence. As I say, Halifax struggling to even make any forward progress. Not so with the Bulls. They really are fired up for this one.
Here's Bloom over the 40-metre line, but nowhere for him to get through. Seal again. Back it goes to Broadbent. Broadbent, that's a bit better.
I think Halifax have got to start to be a little bit more adventurous now. Holroyd and Clinch, they've got to start working their magic. Here's Holroyd with a kick.
Trying to get it down into the corner, but I was going to say that will run too dead. It hangs in the mud, sticks in the mud, and that's a better chase. Much better chase led by Bouvin. And maybe that's the moment when Halifax get a little bit of belief in themselves.
Beautiful kick. See it yet again. See how the ball was spinning backwards. As soon as it hit the pudding, slowed up.
Yes, it found the custard, didn't it?
Who was it?
One away from his average kicks in general play, Graham Holroyd. Had such a big game with Gavin Clinch against Wigan 7 days ago. Good drop out though, that from under the sticks.
Off the knee! Off the knee!
And Broadbent need it.
Good thinking as well by the big prop forward.
Oh, he was thinking then of getting rid of it to Seal again. Held on at the last minute. Here's Skerrett. Just wondering when we might see the appearance of Martin Moana. He's on the bench. And he's been out for 4 games with a broken arm. But he's obviously a very quick healer.
That's amazing, isn't it? Just 4 games.
Penalty, is it? No, penalty to Bradford.
Get to your feet first before you place the ball on the ground. And Jamie Bloom was being caught placing the ball on the ground before he gets to his feet.
You think it's a bit harsh?
Well, it looked that way.
No,
yep. You've got to regain onto your feet before you can place the ball down.
Amazing, the different angles. One look at that replay, it looked harsh against Bloom. Second look, and of course the referee doesn't have 2 looks. Good defence.
Caused him a lot of troubles, and Stuart Fielden. He's really got through the work late, but that is the mistake.
Well, they were hunting it, and here's an opportunity now for Halifax.
Just took his eyes off the ball, could see Clark coming in at him.
McDermott with the mistake. Someone looking for a penalty. Bouveng. John Connolly unimpressed. Clark, big hit. Great tackle, but he did well to offload.
Well, they're going through the basics of the Blue Sox, but they've got to be a little bit more inventive. He just got out of the way there. Forshaw was hunting him down. Nothing wrong with the tackle.
This is Bloom, surrounded by Danny Peacock. Oh, and that ball comes free again, and Bloom has a word with John Connolly.
But he's not happy, and he will not earn any brownie points by having a few words to say to the official. But you could see there that Peacock was holding him down. He should have been penalised. Watch him finish the tackle, spins him round. You can see Bloom wants to get onto it. Now, is that not holding a man down? That is very harsh indeed on Jamie Bloom.
Well, the South African agreed with you, but the referee didn't. Jowett replaced by Jeremy Doniger. Oh, great little break. Wonderful break here from Fielden. They're after him, and a great... Oh, that's going to be a try. I think the referee will go to the video referee to check it out.
Did he move the elbow? If he moved the elbow...
Time off. It wasn't a double movement. Cheers. Got it, Gavin.
He wants the video ref to check whether it was a double movement or not. Fielden thinks he scored the try, and he thinks momentum's taken him over.
Well, he fully deserves a 4-pointer. Oh, that's a definite movement for mine. If he had not lifted the arm and slid over, it would have been fine. Ball carrying arm hits the deck, and then he makes a deliberate lift. That'll be no try. It's a shame, really, because we just mentioned the fact that this kid was really getting through some work. What a talent for the future.
Well, did it actually touch the deck?
That's what they're looking at. Yes, quite clearly. If it had kept it down, it would have been fine. But you can see he lifts and pushes with the right arm to get him over the top. Once it hits the deck, he could have slid over, but the mere fact that he's lifting the arm now, watch the right arm, he will use that to propel himself forward. That has to be a no try.
Well, that's your view. I wonder if it's the view of the video referee, because Stuart Fielden believes he scored his first Super League try here. Now then, it's a big decision for the video ref. John Pendlebury is a little anxious. Fielden wants to know, and the try is given. So the video referee going against Steve-O, but the 4 points given, and Fielden gets not only his first of 99, it's his first in Super League.
Well, I hate to say it, but I disagree with the man, but full credit. It deserved 4 points, didn't it? They held off him. What a talent this youngster is. Went straight away. Different angle. See how they held away from him. That was not the best attempt at tackle. Beautiful fend. He knows that he's got the speed. They got back to him. And I think that he's got the benefit of the doubt.
Well, the video referee has said that the momentum took Stuart Fielden over the line and he kept the ball to his chest. His arm did not reach out. That's the way he viewed it. I know it's not the way you have. McNamara adds 2 more points and Bradford increase their lead 16 points to 2. And the thing that must be emphasised here is that Steve-O doesn't make the decision, the video ref does, and after watching this, he did.
Well, if it had stayed on his chest, I would have accepted that, but that is not staying on his chest at the last moment. That is well away from the chest.
The other question, of course, that has to be asked, did the ball actually hit the ground? And you're convinced it did?
Yep.
Well, the video referee is convinced maybe it didn't.
I'm not the video ref. I've got nothing to do with it.
Matthew Elliott isn't complaining. 14 points the difference now. 16-2 Bradford Bulls.
But as I said, Eddie, it fully deserved it. It was a rampaging run yet again. Must have had about 5. Oh, well, he just took his eyes off the ball, did the youngster Paul Deacon. Sigh of relief for the Blue Sox. You can see clearly there on that replay. Just lifted his head. And this is the big moment now.
Martin Moana, number 13, there he is, just flexing the muscles in the arm. And they're also hoping to bring Richard Marshall onto the field, and that's a surprise to everybody here that Marshall's on the bench, because he certainly wasn't named on the team sheet, the official team sheet that came from the referee's room immediately before the match. Andy Hobson was. Richard Marshall wasn't, but there he is in 17. John Pendlebury named him yesterday in his side, but he's now made the change. That's good play. This is Gibson.
Good work there by Clinch. Beautiful pass on the inside. But again, this Bradford defence is solid. They're jumping out of the skins in this defensive pattern of the Bulls.
Seal to Holroyd. A stab over the top from Holroyd, but that's straight down the throat of Vicona.
Well, you can see how wet it is out there in that corner. And the chip over the top, not the best option there from Graham Holroyd on this occasion. You're better off just putting it on the ground. Can go anywhere.
Holroyd taken off after that nothing kick over the top, and Broadbent also. Moana and Marshall to replace them.
Ooh, was that a little knock on there from Jamie Lowes? Difficult conditions out there, and he's picked it. The touch judge has got it.
Touch judge saw it.
Just a little one. Lowes tried to cover it up.
And he looks the picture of innocence, of course, just James Lowes.
Looks a bit bemused. Yep, that was it. But did it leave his hand? Yeah, just a little one. Well spotted by the touch judge.
Scrum goes down then. Halifax, loose head and feed. And they'll try and build something with Cardiff, but this defence is sensational from Bradford.
Well, there's a man that can change the complexion of this game. That's Moana. He's such a talent, but he won't have so much energy out there. It's pretty hard to get straight back into a game, especially in these conditions.
Marshall grounded on the 20-metre line. Halifax trying to find the way through this super defence. Moana, Peacock is after him. Nowhere for Moana to go. Now the kick, cross field, and it bounces.
Was he offside? He was.
It's Vicona who got to it. No, it's the turnover.
He must have deemed a knock on. A good kick. That's a knock on from Bloom, but did he get a hand to it? He caught it, went back.
Well, it was an attempt to claim the football, but the referee saw it as a knock on against the Blue Sox. And it was on the last, so it's the turnover. That's why Bradford are in possession.
Kelvin, get him low.
Well, it's a pretty commanding lead now, isn't it? 14 points in these conditions. He's had a big game, though, hasn't he, David Boyle?
He has. Filling big shoes, isn't he, at stand-off. As is Deacon at scrum half, but my word, they've filled them well.
He's certainly had a big game too. James Lowes, he's conducted everything out there. Oh, he didn't play the ball yet again. Well, they're getting away with it sometimes.
I suppose they think that that's why it's worth taking the risk. Great chase, though, by Bradford.
That must be pleasing their coach, Matthew Elliott. Kick and chase game has been good, but this is the main reason, their defensive qualities. And yet again, Stuart Fielder, not just the man that can rampage through the defence, but he's getting through his work a bit high.
High by Doniger.
Well, you could see that he grabbed the shirt, so, well, probably finished up in Chester's.
Penalty to Halifax, dumped into touch. The Blue Sox will try again from halfway. Here's Bouveng.
Well, there you see from that tap, Bouveng hardly got 3 metres forward. Look how they're moving forward onto them. They're forcing the errors.
Marshall wrestled to the ground.
They lost 3 metres there, did the Blue Sox.
They're back on halfway. Seal, it's come out. Knock on. Not stolen by McDermott, but a knock on ruled by John Connolly.
Well, it was a knock on there. McDermott certainly put a hand to it, deliberately knocking the ball down. 2 men in the tackling. You can see him claiming to the referee, Marshall, saying it was deliberately knocked out.
Well, here come Bradford again, looking for more.
Go through the motions, that's all the Bulls have to do. Just make sure of possession, play out the sets of 6, let James Lowes take control at the dummy half there.
Good ball, good run from Forshaw, always willing, always eager. But on nights like this, and when you think what we have ahead of us, hopefully a dry summer, these players have to be pretty adaptable, don't they, in Super League these days?
Well, Halifax hanging off now in defence. You can see there they were backtracking rather than moving forward.
And Deakin will hoist the kick out wide. There's 2 against 1 here. There's a huge job for the defender to do.
Oh, it was taken out there. Peacock was taken out. Well, if this is a try, no, the touch judge has got it.
That is your offside penalty.
Penalty to Halifax over on the far side.
Well, I think you'll also see that the man was taken out. Peacock just goes straight into it. Tried to kid the referee, perhaps. He took the man rather than the ball.
Well, Michael Withers claimed it.
It was a good take by Withers. But you could see that the big centre, Danny Peacock, turned his back, went into the man. Must go for the football from the high kicks.
He's got them for offside, though, from the kick.
Yep.
Here's Clark. Nowhere for him to go either.
Look at that. That's tremendous effort, though, by the Bradford defence.
Well played, though, in the offload. Skerrett, dummy half. Marshall up the middle. Seal is the dummy half. Now Moana. They looked to him to create something if he can. 10 metres inside the Bradford half of the field.
Let's not forget, of course, that the Blue Sox, without their hooker and schemer, Paul Rowley, they certainly lost a lot when he left the field.
Clinch, over the top it goes again, and a little mistake.
Ooh.
He got it back, nearly lost his head in the process. No knock on.
There wasn't one there, it went backwards. Did well, did Withers.
That went forwards. They're not getting a 50-50 shakes.
That's better.
Well, they'll hunt the mistake if they can now. Vicona plays the ball. And Fielden eventually gets to his feet. Lowes nearly loses his. No knock on. Here's Peacock. Peacock to halfway, almost. Last one. There's the kick. And that will cross the whitewash, but it was from halfway. McNamara just winding the clock down.
Quick thinking there by McNamara. Gave himself plenty of room, realising that with a commanding lead, he took the clock as easy as that. But a fine match, leading by example, of course, the captain tonight, Gene, his players on. Come out with some quite creative plays as well.
Well, Halifax have won 2 of their previous 3 Super League visits to this ground, and another win tonight would put them into the top 5 for the first time this year. Certainly the victory over Wigan last Friday breathed new life into their season, and they were hoping to capitalise on that. But Bradford are in no mood to be charitable here.
They really have done a job, though, this Bradford defence.
And Peacock struggling, looks like a groin strain maybe. Offside now against Bradford. And Clinch wants to get on with it, and he does.
He's offside. That'll be another penalty. Quick thinking there by Clinch.
He's done it again. He's running straight at him once more. Play on this time.
Such a quick thinker, little half-back Clinch.
Peacock leaves the field, and Leon Price comes on. He's only 17.
Lost the ball. It's becoming a bit of a nightmare out there.
Danny Seale looks at the referee. A big pat on the back meanwhile for Brian McDermott.
Just the impact of the tackle.
Well, John Pendlebury there is a former Bradford star. The team manager David Hobbs and Kelvin Skerritt out there on the field, all ex-Bradford men. They were in the team that won the '89 Yorkshire Cup. But they might be on the end tonight of a beating by the Bradford Bulls, and that's Leon Price. He stands out like a beacon at the moment, the cleanest jersey on the field, but for how long? I wonder who your man of the match is in this war of attrition. 0660 10 10 13, and a couple of tickets to the grand final on a hopefully warm, balmy night in October.
Well, that was a flop by Marshall. They've got away with it, but it's getting a bit tasty out there. Quite a few words are being said.
That's a great kick, and Cardiff's taking no chances.
Good pressure. It's just what the doctor ordered. Stand off, David Boyle. Starting to take control out there now. Halifax relying, of course, on Gavin Clinch to try to swing things around. Graham Holroyd, another tactician, off the field.
And look at that. Rain has not stopped from around about 4:30 this afternoon. It's just come pouring down. And if ever there was a night to sit in front of the fire and watch the TV and watch Sky Sports and Super League, this is it. But there's over 11,000 inside this ground, and they really do well at this ground. That wasn't played properly, but it was interference.
There's been a lot of that throughout this game. Still had a hold of him there, Fielden.
So penalty to the Blue Sox. Bloom uses all his strength. The ball must be getting pretty heavy as well, even though it's one of the modern day footballs, not the big leather thing that Steve-O used to run around with. But look at that. Over 11,000 here tonight, and believe me, it is the filthiest night of the year.
Full credit to them. But they have not been disappointed.
Not if they're Bradford fans.
There's been a few, look at that. That is great defence. They're working overtime. The three-quarters getting involved. Nathan McAvoy.
Well, he just walked over the top of that Carl Gillespie. The ball went forward. And if that's the case, that's surely a penalty, isn't it? I think he went to play it and then stepped and kicked it twice.
Well, he didn't know it was there, did he?
One of those nights.
Went back a fraction, then caught it.
Here's Lowe's. Perpetual motion by this Bradford Bulls side. Steam rising from the players now every time they hit the deck. Good ball from Deakin. This is McAvoy. Try McAvoy. Another one for the Bulls.
Happy with that?
Referee just checking with his touch judge that he's happy. What was the grounding like? It's one of those nights, we say. The referee, John Connolly, says he thinks it's okay. McAvoy believes it is as well, but he just wants to check the grounding of the football.
Well, we'll see on the slow motion, but that's all right. No problem with that. Nothing that the fullback could do there. Cardis. Yep, straight on the line. Banged it down. He's done his bit as a centre, Nathan McAvoy. But it was a good build-up as well. Paul Deacon set it on the blind side. But the video referee having a little look. Did he have full control? That's what it states in the rule book. You must have full control of the ball going down. Did he have? I think so. Right on the line. That's all it needs.
Never left his hand.
Nothing wrong with that. And the Bulls go rampaging on.
Indeed. Another 4 points confirmed by the video ref. It has been a great display in front of these supporters, and for them to turn up on a night like this, they really demanded something special, and the Bulls are providing it.
Well, we mentioned in the first half they had no fear about keeping this ball alive, and it was a beautiful pass on the inside there by the youngster Paul Deacon. To work the blind side very well indeed. You can see how difficult it is at normal speed to pick out whether it was correct or not, but the slow motion showed that McAvoy got it down. It was a well-worked move by the little youngster, Paul Deacon.
Nathan McAvoy, the try scorer, missed last week against Warrington, but he's been in impressive form this year, the former Salford player. McNamara now will try and add 2 more to the Bradford Bulls total. Just pushed it in front of the posts. 20 points to 2 to the Bulls.
Perfect inside pass. Look how he runs towards the touchline. He'll go in. Dummy runner first, then McAvoy came on the second run. Great stuff.
Kelvin, come here, quick.
Running off the ball, enabled McAvoy the second chance to get over. It has been a very, very good performance.
We've just had a 10-minute spell of messing about at play the ball. I'm trying to play the advantage. I know the conditions are poor. Tell you guys, stop messing about, get their hands out. OK, let's get on with it.
So the 2 captains have been told the referee is doing his best. I think you'll all agree. But he wants a little less messing around at the play the ball. And Paul Anderson returns.
Well, it was frustrating both sides. A few of the players out there were beginning to lose the plot somewhat.
Me? Thanks, Kelvin.
Doniger picks up the kick-off. Moana and Bloom after him. That's good defence from Bloom. Well, Melbourne Souths in the morning at 10 a.m. on Sky Sports 1, the next instalment from the NRL story of 1999. And we're back in the Super League, and let's hope to goodness that Sheffield is blessed with better weather than this at the Don Valley Sunday night for the Sheffield Eagles against Andy Kelly's Wakefield Wildcats. And we'll talk to Andy at the end of this match. Of course, he's our studio guest tonight. And of course, we're on air tonight until 10 o'clock when we have highlights of the Anzac Test between Australia and New Zealand.
Well, a rare mistake by David Boyle. He certainly put himself around the combination of Boyle and Deacon. Completely overshadowed their opposites.
Here's Cardis. Halifax now trying to rescue a little pride. They will be annoyed that they haven't crossed the line, but frankly, they've hardly looked like threatening the Bradford defence all night.
They've struggled to get over that advantage line. They haven't been able to get the forwards going forward.
It's that Wigan factor, Steve-O. They had such a big effort a week ago. I know the conditions tonight are appalling, but they are for both sides.
Too true, but you can't take anything away from the way that the Bulls have played tonight. They've played some sensational football. That's a shame.
Yes, it was worth the risk, I suppose. Cardis put the pass down. Lowe's has it back then for the Bulls, and this now is Anderson.
Very few opportunities, of course, have come the Blue Sox way.
Moana just.
It was good work, wasn't it? He just couldn't get it the full back.
There's Leon Price.
But they've shared the workload there. They've all rolled up the sleeves They certainly came here to get themselves dirty and work hard. More so, they will certainly want this game more than what Halifax have shown.
It'll put the pressure, of course, on St Helens at the top. And Spruce, lovely dummy, and it's opened up for him. He's got chances out wide. Dab for the in goal. The man was taken out after the kick was put in. Withers looking for a possible penalty, but none forthcoming.
Not a bad option as well.
Marshall was committed, to be fair to him.
Yep, he'd already gone in. Just went over the line. But a nice option by Withers on that occasion.
And Jamie Peacock about to come into the action. Another of the players to have come through the academy ranks here at Odsal. And his namesake, they're no relation, Jamie and Danny, but we've got some news of Danny Peacock. Here's Bill.
Danny Peacock on the Bradford bench, having been substituted, and it is a groin injury, as I think Steve-O picked up fairly early on in the plot, but Peacock says that it's nothing too serious. He's got an ice pack on the injured area, and he's not looking too disconsolate about it. Bit of steam coming off these players, and the game might be beyond the Blue Sox reach now, but I don't think it's over as a physical contest. There's a bit of steam coming from one or two characters out there.
Yes, I bet there is.
I'm not so sure that was the best option there by Martin Moana. He had the chance to boot the ball down from that penalty, perhaps another 25-30 metres.
Getting the better of the penalty count, Halifax. What can they make of this? And they're having better of the possession in this second half. They're not quite so much behind the 8-ball, except on the scoreboard where it really matters. They've hardly threatened this line. Maybe they will here now with Bloom.
Well, I can't remember a clean break from them.
And they've lost it again.
Terrier-like yet again. Fielden just kept at him. He's got through some work there, as Jamie Bloom.
Well, it's been said many times, hasn't it, in sport, in all forms. 11 clean breaks from Bradford, 1 from Halifax. That leagues like this, the Super League, it's not a sprint, it's a marathon. And this is only round 7. There's still 23 of the weekly rounds to go. And also, of course, there is then the playoffs. But on this sort of form, Bradford looked the team for all seasons. Saw them destroy Warrington in the Cup on a lovely spring afternoon not long ago, and here they are now showing the more resolute side of their character.
Out on the
full from Paul Deacon.
A rare mistake from the youngster. Just a little bit too strong. But the Bradford coach, Matthew Elliott, must be extremely pleased with this. Remember, without the 2 Pauls. But they've certainly not lacked anything with the way that Boyle and Deacon have shown out there. They really have taken it to them.
Nowhere through for Martin Moana. Maybe Cardis will have better fortune.
Amazing stat though, isn't it? And I'm sure that John Pendlebury will be looking at the fact that they've only made 1 clean break throughout this game.
Who's your man of the match? 0660 10 10 13. That's the number, and of course 2 tickets to the grand final on offer to one of you tonight if you identify the man of the match correctly. Lynch has not been able to get going tonight. The dab towards the in-goal area, and Spruce collects it. Good chase. Gibson leading the way.
Good positioning though by Stuart Spruce. He really reads the game so well. And all it takes now is just more hard work from the Bulls. 3 quarters, Vicona taking it up, releasing the pressure from the forwards.
Well, he's almost like another forward, isn't he, Vicona, when he trundles it down the middle. And here's Jamie Peacock. Terrific run from Peacock to halfway.
Swinging arm there. Oh, he's lost it.
Not played properly. Over pushing at the play of the ball, and it's a penalty to Bradford.
I've told you guys, it is.
It was interference. It's been difficult though for both sides.
Well, there's his record as a coach. 71 games, 45 victories, a 63.3% ratio. And he's added to his tally here tonight, I think. There's no doubt now that Bradford will win this game. Just the size of the margin.
Well, he's lengthened his winning streak, and also got a pretty long tongue as well by that action. But he'll be impressed, and rightly so.
They will stay second in the Super League ladder, though, on points difference behind St Helens, but the pressure's on the Saints now for their match on Sunday.
No advantage, so... But you have to admire the way that they at least have tried to play dry weather football.
Another thing, Steve-O, that will please Matthew Elliott is the fact that this place is becoming a fortress for them again. They only lost once in their title-winning campaign of '97 last year. They lost on this ground 4 times in the weekly round. They're so far unbeaten now.
Well, all the coaches will tell you that you must ensure you win every home game if you want to be in and around that top 5 come the end of the season. And I know that Matthew Elliott perhaps will pick out some good work and some star players, but it's been his defensive positioning. They've just shut Halifax down and they've sloughed them all night.
And that's a forward pass. And it's not been Gavin Clinch's night. They will hope for dry weather in the future.
And you could see that Moana had to stretch out there for the football. 50-50, maybe about half a metre. So I don't think the Bulls have done yet. The set pattern at the scrum base, is it? Keep your eye on Paul Deacon.
There's Nathan McAvoy. Blooms after him and gets to him. Must be tired, both sides now, but Bradford with a little more spring in their step. They've had that from the first whistle. Fielden lost the ball.
Well, not surprisingly, late in this game, it really has been hard for both sides. First of the match, but he's certainly shown that he's a super sub when he came off the bench.
The big hoof downfield and the chase is on. Cardis is after it, but also after it Leon Price, and he picks it up. Oh, and gets through them without any problem. And again, there's a swinging arm there. The Leon Price setting them alive at Odsel.
Come here, says Pinckney. Oh, he stood all over him. Well, was that accidental? He certainly got the boot in there. This is Pinckney. A bit of a knees in the back, but what's this? Well, we can do without that. I said it was getting a little bit frustrating for some of the players out there. You can see he wants to put the knee in. Oh, that is ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. That will go on. I don't know what he's smiling about, because he's got to go on report, surely.
Yes, the whole thing's going to go on report. The touch judge on this near side being brought over now. The crowd saw it all on the big screen. You can hear what they think about it.
The game's hard enough without that.
Steve, let's just put it on report, okay? Tushers wasn't sure whether it was accidental or deliberate. But you just have a look at it, right? But where the ball goes, your first tackle. Yeah, don't worry.
Well, they're not sure whether it's accidental or deliberate, so
that's why it's your first tackle.
The executive will look and they'll decide whether it will be referred to the disciplinary later this week or later next week. 4 to go. Bradford are coasting to victory. Stuart Fielden comes off, but their ball retention has been outstanding. Oh, he's given a knock on for that against Jowett. He caught it.
Jowett says, I caught it. Well, you're allowed to do that.
But it was a genuine effort to
get to the football.
Connect the football. It wasn't a deliberate knock on.
It has to hit the opposition, surely, before it be classified as a knock on.
Well, it should have been play on. Deliberate's a different matter. I don't honestly think, though, that Warren Jowett deliberately knocked that ball forward in that situation.
Not in these conditions. You've got to allow some latitude.
3 minutes left for play. Halifax in possession. looking to gain a little respect, consolation, call it what you will.
They really have been hammered. We haven't seen enough of the big fellas, Broadbent, Skerritt on the Halifax side.
And here's Clark now, pops it back, nowhere for Chester to go.
They really have struggled to get over the advantage line. They've struggled to put together good, strong plays. They've had to rely on the kick most of the time. And still only one clear break from the Blue Sox.
This is Boyle.
Enjoying himself, isn't he, David Boyle? In an unusual position for him to stand off.
Bradford then just counting down. Sheffield remain the last team to win at Odsal, 38-18 on August the 2nd last year. So the list now is increasing and lengthening of teams who have come here and gone home pointless.
Another good kick there by Steve McNamara. He's certainly earned his corn tonight.
Well, they finished 5th in 1998, the Bradford Bulls. Then they crashed out of the playoffs at the very first hurdle against St Helens. And they have vowed to regain the form which brought them that title in 1997. And on the occasions that we have seen them in 1999, Bradford look a pretty good bet to make at least the 5 and who knows what else. Pinkney. Kick over the top, that's going to sit short. But Spruce was the man who won the bravery award there, but in the last minute.
Well, the idea was good, just didn't get the connection there. Spruce knew that the big swinging leg was going towards him. Didn't chicken out, came up with the football in the end. Can they finish with a flourish?
Well, half a minute of the match remaining. Bradford not just content to shove the ball up the jumper and try and grind out this victory. They've got 2 tackles left, they're on halfway. Do they have anything? No, they will grind it out.
Quite happy with that. The experience showing from the hooker, James Lowes.
Another 2 points to Matthew Elliott. The ball picked out of the stream that is running around Odsal. Well, it hasn't been a night for the faint-hearted, and Bradford have proved that they've got hearts as big as the bull in winning this match. And the referee says, I think we've all had enough of this drenching, and Bradford have won the 2 points on offer here. Michael Withers, the try right on the stroke of half-time that broke their back. John Pendlebury, a different picture than we saw 7 days ago at the new Shea. Fielden and McAvoy with tries in the second half. The crowd giving John Connolly a bit of a roasting as he leaves the field, but a little unfairly on a night like this. 20 points to 2, Bradford have won 4 tries to none. And a delighted, no doubt, Matthew Elliott is here now with Bill.
Matt, given these appalling conditions, you must be really pleased with that performance.
Yeah, they looked like a group of people that it meant something to tonight, didn't they? I'll take my headphones off now. I'm very proud of them and the way they performed as a team.
I think the statistic that shows it all was that Halifax made 1 clean break.
Yeah, we've worked really hard in our defence. Brian Noble's my defensive coach, and it's a real team activity defence, and they showed tonight that they're a good team.
They didn't so much have to dig deep for that, they had to dredge deep for it, didn't they?
Yeah, well, you wouldn't have known it was that wet, would you? They play a pretty open style of rugby as well, so I'm really proud of them.
I think you would have known it was that wet, Matt. Thanks.
Well, they look a bit dirty. Fred will have some trouble washing the kit, I think. Thanks, mate.
Matthew Elliott's had enough of the rain. He's off into the warmth of the dressing rooms, and we'll let Bill go inside with him as well. Great win for the Bradford Bulls, but still to come tonight. Here next, highlights from this morning's clash between the Aussies and New Zealand. On Sky Sports 2 from 10 o'clock, it's US Tour Golf Day 2 of the Greater Greensboro Classic. And on Sky Sports 3, wrestling action in WWF Raw. And a quick reminder of just some of the action coming up for you tomorrow. At 10 o'clock, we've the Australian Rugby League, Melbourne against Souths. There's live cricket at 1:30, Somerset against Durham. Hope it's not raining in Somerset. And at 2 o'clock, live rugby union, Sale against Leicester. That's to come up on Saturday here on Sky Sports 3 sports channels. But the rain has fallen incessantly here at Odsal. It's a tribute not only to the crowd but also to the Bradford Bulls for the entertainment that they have produced for us. And a 20-2 victory for the Bradford Bulls. They go level on top with St Helens at the top of the Super League ladder.
Chop these up, codpiece and chip.
Oh, enough! What booty did you bring for my pleasure?
Mom, it seems to navigate me through all the channels of my desire.
Your desire? And what of mine, Walter?
Or whatever you wish. It guides you through an abundance of riches. Comedy, action, romance.
Sky Box Office delivers a new world of movie entertainment. Call now and switch to Sky Digital.
Romantic comedy?
Tragic romantic comedy.
Like funny comedy?
Der Architekt aus Amsterdam, der hier gestern war, die ist wieder da. Er sagt, er hat seinen Stift hier vergessen.
Spend over £25 this week at Tesco and you'll get a free Millennium Wall chart and packet of stickers showing historical scenes such as the Battle of Hastings, the Spanish Armada, right up to the fall of the Berlin Wall. But hurry, they won't be around forever.
$2 million killed in conflict. 300,000 still engaged in action. These are the soldiers fighting today's wars. This is no time for silence, lest we forget child soldiers.
Lucy and Max have always been close, sometimes too close.
Your breath!
At last, for dogs with bad breath, Pedigree Breath Buster, the tasty, crunchy biscuit with a special blend of parsley and eucalyptus oil for fresher breath. Pedigree Breath Buster.
Do I use it more? No. Has it gone up in value? No. Am I 18 again? No. Have I moved to a dodgy area? Has it suddenly turned into a sports car? Have I ever had an accident? No. So, am I happy my car insurance has gone up? No. What, did I phone Direct Line? Yes. Did I get a good deal? Yes. Would I like to be 18 again? Yes.
So for easy, low-cost motor insurance, better talk direct to Direct Line. How can we live together in peace and harmony? Simple. Get a second line. That way you don't have to wait for someone to finish their call when you want to send a fax or use the internet. And right now you can get a second line for half the usual price. If you'd like a second line or a digital BT highway line, call us now on 0800 800 845.
From acclaimed filmmaker David Cronenberg comes the ultimate game. Play or be played.
It's just a game.
Existence.
Maybe. Just maybe.
Well, a great win for the Bradford Bulls, 20 points to 2, and the try tally really tells its own story. Vicona with us, Fielden and McAvoy, McNamara with the 2 goals, the Halifax Blue Sox without a try, and just the one Graham Holroyd penalty. 20 points to 2, and well done, the crowd turning up on a night like this. Now, who's the man of the match? McNamara got some votes, young Paul Deacon did, but James Lowes is your man of the match. He's the one that counts, and here is the Bradford hooker with Bill.
Congratulations on the Man of the Match award. Really, you did everything right out there, didn't you?
Yeah, we knew it was going to be a night where mistakes, you know, it was just going to be happening. So we just had to be patient and, you know, defend well if we did make mistakes. And I think that's what we did.
It's been hard coming up. Allowed Halifax one clean break.
Yeah, like I say, you know, we've really got my teeth in. Worked on the defence this week because we know it was going to be weather like this. And when weather like this happens, you know you're going to make mistakes. You know, no matter how good you are. So we defended well.
But it's a pretty good run now, isn't it? I mean, you've beaten Warrington, first win at their place this season. Now you've beaten Halifax, who beat Wigan last week. That's good form.
Yeah, we're playing well at the moment, particularly at home, you know, and everything's going well for us, and we're all enjoying it. You know, team spirit's pretty good, so you know, we're all happy at the moment.
You're enjoying this?
I know.
Steam coming off you.
Thank God for summer rugby. I've just said it before, but yeah, you've got to enjoy playing no matter what the conditions are, and if you're winning, you know, it's all smiles, and at the moment we're all smiles.
Yes, winners are grinners, and Mark Waugh of London is tonight's Man of the Match competition winner. Mark is off to the grand final at Old Trafford on October the 9th. Well done, the Bradford Bulls. Good win, 20 points to 2, and James Lowe summing it all up, really. If you're winning, you're smiling and you're laughing all the way to the bank. And Andy Kelly has watched the game with us here, the Wakefield Wildcats coach. He's no doubt hoping against hope that it's not going to be weather like this at Sheffield on Sunday when we see them, and so are we, believe me. But I think the word desire, Andy, comes into it tonight. Bradford had the desire to win, didn't they?
Yeah, without a doubt, and they controlled the game throughout the 80 minutes. We've just seen Matthew Elliott there, and he's every right to be pleased with his side tonight. I feel they controlled the game from start to finish. They had too much physical power and strength, shortened the game down and only used the width option when it was really on. The percentage game was excellent.
You have to give them 5 stars, don't you, for the way they held on to football, the way they minimised their mistakes and the way they stopped Halifax from playing.
Yeah, without a doubt, and even at half-time you really felt that Halifax would struggle to get back in the game. You wondered where they'd get the strength and physical size to match the Bradford Bulls' charge. McDermott and Anderson have taken the ball forward really well tonight, and they were ably supported by the back row, Fielden and Forshaw. And
the Halifax challenge simply fell away. Wonder what the mood is like in their dressing room. David Hobbs spent a lot of his career on this ground for the Bradford Northern side, as it was in those days. David Hobbs these days is the team manager of the Halifax Blue Sox, and he's going to give the Blue Sox reaction to that defeat. He's with Bill.
David, what's the Halifax verdict on that?
Well, obviously we're disappointed with the results. I think Bradford, credit to them, played the conditions a lot better than what we did, and we're probably a bit more imaginative with the ball, and we limited ourselves to very few chances, and Bradford, they had 4 chances and took every one.
Hard to be imaginative though in these conditions, isn't it?
Well, that's the time. You know, you've got to dig deep, roll your sleeves up, and play the conditions. And you know, and Bradford did that. Just that. Their defence was, you know, very tight tonight, and we needed to find ways of breaking it down. And you know, we didn't come up with the right options.
I think this probably shows just how tough the top 5 is going to be this season, getting into the top 5. I mean, you beat Wigan one week. OK, the conditions are very different, but you come here and you lose to the Bulls.
Yeah, we knew it was going to be difficult. We had like I say, we had a good win last week to sort of get ourselves going, and we needed a good performance here, you know, this evening. But it's not happened. But with sides able to beat each other now, you know, the top 5, it's wide open. And our aim has always been to get that 5th spot to make the playoffs. You know, we've not said anything more than that, and we're still on track to do that.
Still on track to do it, but only just. They've gone to 8th in the table because of the big defeat they've suffered here tonight, the Blue Sox. But the Bradford Bulls are level on points with the Saints, but you can see the massive points difference that St Helens have. And ironically, a lot of that points difference came about because of the huge win against Bradford Bulls over the Easter holiday. But Bradford, well on course, and they can't be knocked off second perch this weekend with Wigan, Castleford and Warrington still 4 points behind them. We have got the highlights coming up shortly of that Australia-New Zealand test match played earlier on this morning. If you missed it, well, stay with us because we have all the highlights coming. But now we're going to have a look back at this match, Steve-O, with you and the best moments of it. And the best moments really all belong to Bradford.
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, they played it well, but Matthew Elliott said what we said at half-time is the fact that they kept keeping the ball alive. In these conditions, it was a superb performance. And none better than this youngster. They're calling him the super sub now. He came off the bench. This young Fielden really is in fine form. And a youngster, but see how he just moved the ball away so he could fend. It was a great break. I disagreed with the video referee on this one. Either way, as I said in commentary, he fully deserved the fact, to me, that's where the ball hit the ground. Disagreed with me, did the video ref, leans over. It deserved a 4-point, and I really thought that once he scored that try and it was given, then Halifax really had no hope to come back into it. Then this beautiful play, Paul Deacon, another youngster, look how he just slips the ball back at the right time. McAvoy came well, but there was a dummy runner first that went through that created that half break. They really worked hard together. Now this, we can do without. It was a great run there by Price. Missed a high one. And then he gets back. Pinckney gets to him. Watch this. Tries to shove the knee in. And that, I'm afraid, we do not want in any sport, especially rugby league. And I am glad that the officials have put it on report. They didn't have a great view of it in the first place, and I just get the impression we might hear a little bit more about that.
Well, it's obvious what everyone has to do to get into the top 5. As I think we said in the commentary, Andy, you've got to win your matches at home and pick up what you can away from home. Yeah, without a doubt. Your home form's always, indicates how well you're going to do. If you're going to move out of the bottom areas of the division, all sides would hope to keep the home form good, make your home ground a bastion, and come away and try and pick points up away from home. Bradford. I think if you can do that, you're going to do well, obviously. Indeed so. Bradford certainly have done that thus far in Super League 4 in 1999. They remain unbeaten here at the Odsal Stadium, the Fortress Odsal, as it is turning into in 1999. Well, the ground has emptied rapidly in this rain, no wonder. They're all making their way to the TV sets to watch the Anzac Test highlights. They're next.